back. WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. I've shaven up here for Don Moeller after about a month and a half of going with my my grizzled look of the senior citizen around here. I'm going to cede that. I have the fresh shaven face here for Baltimore Positive as we work into the second month of the pandemic here, and we've been apart. We haven't been to State Fair with the chicken and waffles, Don. We haven't had an opportunity to get together and get those crab cakes. I know they were shipped out to you from Fadley's as well, and I did have Jeff Moeller on. You can find that out in the buyatoyota.com audio vault at WNST.net, talking about Moeller and Gary Realty. But, a lot of these endeavors we do at Baltimore Positive, especially this week with the arts, are your passion project this week. I love all these places. I've been to most of these places. But this one's near and dear to your heart, so I'm going to let you do the honors here with Vinny Lanchisi.
Terrific. And I first want to thank, again, Fronda Cohen, who did all the executive producing for these segments. Fronda, former communications specialist in Baltimore County government, was the government's go-to person for arts and cultural institutions, and really appreciate Fronda. Vinny, welcome to Baltimore Positive. As Nestor knows, he said every man's a little bit of my passion, and we'll talk a little bit about why that is in my connection, but we just love Everyman Theater and want to welcome you on in these crazy times to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about what's going on at Everyman.
Thanks so much for having me, Don. It's one of my favorite things to talk about.
How many years now?
Vinny, I didn't realize. I was looking. I knew you were the artistic director. You're the founder of Everyman?
I am. I was just a little boy when I started it 29 years ago. We're about
to celebrate.
Next season's our 30th anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and this one's kind of unlike any other one. I mean, I'm reading off your website here, and you can go up to everymantheater.org and learn about Vinny, who's the founding artistic director. We strive to engage, inspire, and transform artist audiences, and that's the key word there, community, through the theater of the highest artistic standards and make it affordable and accessible for everyone. It's a few blocks from my house. We're committed to embodying the promise of our name, Everyman Theater. So much about the arts, Vinny, is bringing people together. I mean, I look at this picture here of you and your staff and board hugging people, and there's women and different colors and ages and races. And everybody, theater brings people together, and this pandemic is taking people apart, at least physically, for a while. When we can get together again, that's what the arts is all about, right? Bringing people together.
Absolutely. My colleagues in theater are really having a hard time with this isolation because we spend all of our time creating performances to bring people together into a theater and experience the human condition. We laugh together, we cry together. I've got a resident company of actors. They perform in many different plays in a season, and our patrons get to know them professionally and personally. And when they come on stage, it's a conversation that they have with the audience. I mean, hopefully the audience isn't talking, but they're breathing in unison. They're laughing at what's funny. They're crying when it's sad, and they're giving it instant feedback. And in a way, it's sort of our coming together. It's our place of worship, if you will, except what we're worshiping is each other. We love it.
It's an amazing place, Vinny. We want you to talk a little bit about the history of Everyman. As I said, I love, Nestor knows I absolutely, my wife and I love the theater scene in Baltimore and in New York. And, we try to partake as much as we can. And Everyman is, along with two or three couples that we're close friends with, it's a must go to opportunity for us every year. We go to a couple of plays every year, and we just love Everyman. Describe for folks who might not know, Vinny, what separates Everyman from a center stage and from a hippodrome that are also such important parts of the Baltimore theater scene?
Sure. First of all, I want to mention we are all comrades in arms, right? The arts are the arts. Theater is theater. We all beget, if you come to see a play at center stage, we hope you'll come try to see a play at Everyman, Hippodrome, Everyman, all of that. We work together in this field. People might think we're competitors, but we're not.
And we can all go to Forno beforehand, right?
That's right. Absolutely. Please do. Please do. Go twice before.
Right. There you go. There you go.
I do want to say that I think what makes Everyman a little different from all the other theaters is that our niche is our resident company. So when I started the theater forever ago, I came up from Catholic University where I was getting my master's degree in directing, and I wanted to start a theater from scratch, and I wanted that theater to have the actor at the center of the work. I believe that actors working together over and over again can develop layers of relationships on stage, both in spoken word and in between the spoken word, that really enrich their performances. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses. You know, they're often asked to come together as strangers and create the illusion of lifelong relationships, right? Father-daughter, husband-wife. And our actors know each other so well that, you know, first day of rehearsal, it's like they've already been together for 2 weeks. And they're digging into deeper and deeper into the layers of the relationship. And our audiences know that. I believe most of our audiences come for 2 reasons. One, because they love the caliber of the acting they see on stage, and the theater's so intimate that they really see it up close. And 2, we do a wide range of plays so that there's something for everybody. We do classics, you know, modern classics. We do comedies. We do serious plays. We do new work so that we introduce Baltimore to some of the important new playwrights that we think are out there and that are going to become famous. So it's a community, if you will, in an intimate place where we hope everyone feels welcome.
It's a beautiful, beautiful facility, and as you said, so intimate. It's fascinating, Vinny, when you mention the cast and the ongoing characters. I mean, the first thing, Nestor, I don't even think you know this, but the first thing that we look for every year, and I'll explain why, is we immediately look for, okay, which plays is Megan Anderson in? You know, we feel a connection to Megan. My wife was a French teacher at the George Washington Carver Center for the Arts in Baltimore County. And, of course, Megan and her 2 brothers, Megan's a triplet, Megan and her 2 brothers went there, and my wife taught the brothers, didn't teach Megan, but obviously
By the way,
Megan.
Only the second time Carver's come up in 2 days, too. It comes up all the time.
Carver's kind of a special. Let me tell you how special, and Vinny will know this is true. And this is a shout out to Megan and the caliber of folks they have at Everyman. But as a 9th or 10th grader, I can't remember if it was a 9th or 10th grader, Megan was in the production of Into the Woods, and she was the witch. And I tell people to this day, I've seen Into the Woods probably 3, 4, 5 times on Broadway and in Baltimore. And Megan's witch, as a 9th and 10th grader, was on a par, if not better, than Bernadette Peters and Felicia Rashad. Both, I mean, that's how good.
There you go. That's some competition for you. She is extraordinary. I love Megan. And, you know, she really cut her professional teeth at Everyman. She was still at Towson University when she started acting as an ingenue at Everyman. And I knew how special she was from the first minute she stepped into the rehearsal hall. What an amazing actress and an even better person in life. I adore her.
All these people are up on the website, by the way. I'm just letting you know. The Everyman Theater, I'm looking up Megan Anderson. There she is, biography. Acting is not about being someone different. It's finding the similarity in what is apparently different than finding myself in there.
Well, Nestor, a lot of our listeners out there in their cars right now, driving around, and they're listening to us to talking with the founder and creative director of Everyman Theater, Vinny Lanchisi. A lot of the folks out there will remember Megan Anderson as Mrs. Carcetti in The Wire. So in addition to Everyman Theater, Megan played Tommy Carcetti's wife in
I still haven't seen The Wire, but we've been through this
Wire.
before.
Well, when you do, you'll get to see
Everybody's rewatching it right now. I mean, this is...
Oh, yeah. I got to tell you, you know, I got such great street cred one day when my nephew was down from Boston, and he'd never seen a play at my theater. And Megan walked across the lobby and gave me a big hug, and he went, "Oh, my God, Mom, that's Carcetti's wife, the mayor's wife." I was like, I'm like the favorite uncle now. Yeah.
Well, you know, she was also, you know, going on our Megan Anderson cheerleading corner here. She also Vinny, and maybe you can tell folks a little bit, because I think it gives you a sense of the types of plays that are done at Everyman. She was in a production here that we were with another couple, and literally the four of us could not move when it was over. And I'm sure you're going to remember, you're already thinking what it was. It was Grounded, about Megan being a master of drone strikes in the middle of a war. It was one of the most remarkable performances and productions I've ever seen.
Yeah, she really riveted us in that. I always felt like she left a piece of herself on stage every night, because she was so in it, in that play. And as a drone pilot, feeling the force of killing people that are 2,000 miles away, but you're doing it in the safety of a trailer. I mean, there have since been movies about drone pilots all over the place, but when that was done, no one had really given that much thought, fighting wars long distance and what that does to a pilot. It's a really interesting, riveting play. I want to say, one other thing that sets Everyman apart is that everything you see at Everyman is homegrown. It's all local, right? We use local artists. We have resident set designers, lighting designers, costume designers. The scenery is all built here. We have our own crafts people that do that work. Everything backstage. Every stick of wood is bought in Baltimore, is turned into these fabulous sets by Baltimore artisans. So when you come to Everyman, you are literally supporting a whole ecosystem of local creativity and craftsmanship or craftspersonship.
Everyman Theater, great stories, well told, is the way it is up on the top of the website. You can find them at everymantheater.org. Vinny Lanchisi joining us here. I would think on the Broadway, the part of this for people who love to go to shows, and my wife and I were up in New York a couple of weeks before all the COVID began, and we almost went to see West Side Story, and we didn't. And every concert we can't see right now, and every ball game people are watching old. From a theater perspective, I mean, West Side Story, people are watching movies now from the 50s and 60s of old, My Fair Ladies and shows like that, because they cannot go to the theater, that maybe it's a time to show your children, show your wife that's never seen West Side Story, in my wife's case, to say, hey, this is something that when it's all over, we'll get back, like we went to Wicked at the Hippodrome last month, to getting back together to do this. It lives on TV, but it's way, way different in person, and I think part of having this downtime is making us want the things we can't have right now, and then once that ramps up again, people are going to want to come back and feel and touch theater again, right?
Oh, my God. We can't wait for that moment, and we're spending every waking moment now planning for that. We have contingency plans for contingency plans. Everybody wants to know when. When can we get back? When can we get back? And we're really, really looking forward to it. I just want people to know Everyman is really working hard to be ready. And these are challenging times for theaters everywhere, because we have no income coming in, and we're trying to keep all our people employed. So if any of you have tickets to shows that are being postponed, please consider making a contribution to the theater, because these artists and these craftspeople and full-time staff people, they deserve to be able to keep their jobs, and we want to be able to come back to you. Our goal is keep everyone employed.
Vinny, that's a great point. Can they do that online at Everyman?
They sure can. And we have a match right now. We had a really, really generous patron who offered $100,000 match.
Wow.
For anybody who make a gift to the Impact Fund at Everyman. So if anybody, I wasn't intended to talk about it, but it's part of the reality that all the theaters are facing.
We want you to talk about it. And you know what else, Vinny, I'd like you to talk about, because I think it gets lost in the shuffle with Everyman, and it's really exciting when you hear about it. Look at it. Talk a little bit about your outreach and to youth and the classes and the camps, because you guys are much more than just a theater.
There's a whole education tab up on your platform on the website.
Yeah, there's a lot. We do a lot in the community because we care. We want to create, audience members of tomorrow, and we'd like to make a difference in the community where we can. So we have a very robust high school matinee program. It's not just your typical high school matinee where you bus kids in to see a play and then they never see another one. This is built on repeat exposure. So they see 4 or 5 plays in a season. We go into the classroom the week that they're coming, and we introduce the students to the world of the play. 95% of them have never seen a live performance before.
Wow.
So we introduce them to the world of the play and the themes of the story and give them a sense so they don't feel out of place when they get to the theater. They have a sense of what they're going to see. Then they see the play, no cost to the students or the schools, including the buses, all paid for by Everyman and our patrons and donors. Anyway, they come, they see the play, they have a discussion with the cast after, and then the next day or two, the actors are in the classrooms again with the kids, getting them up on their feet. Kids, these are teenagers, they're practically adults. But anyway, 3 times for every play they see. That's 15 times a year. We're involved in their curriculum, working closely with teachers, providing study guides, and making sure that everything is coordinated. It takes a lot of coordination. And then, we have residencies for grammar school age kids, and we're in mostly public schools in the city, but a couple of private. And we also offer classes for adults. Our education director likes to say, we provide education for ages 2 to 92. We believe it's a lifelong learning, when you're talking about theater. So we do classes for beginners, for intermediates, all different skill levels. And, it's a really wide range of offers. So we hope people will take advantage of that.
It's an amazing play. I have a 4-year-old granddaughter, little Adeline, who I think has already decided that her future is to be the next Megan Anderson. So I think at one point she'll be coming through some of these programs. She sees herself on the stage, I think, at 4 years old.
Well, we're even offering some child care matinees where, the mom and dad or the parent can be downstairs watching a play, and upstairs teaching artists are doing creative things with the children. So it's free.
Oh, that's beautiful. And all that's up on the website, everymantheater.org. Vinny Lanchisi joining us here from the Everyman. We're getting out to do the arts here this week. Don, I would say the wrap-up to all of this would be what's on the fall schedule, and have you already thought out those shows that Don and Linda are going to want to come down and see Megan in?
Yeah, we're cooking that up as we speak, and we've got you're gonna hear something in 2 weeks, but we've got some great things lined up. We've got some really fabulous plays that celebrate the human spirit that are going to really, really speak to our need to gather, connect, even maybe hug one another again. Dare we do that? The opposite of social distancing. We're going to come back to Everyman to be together.
Cannot wait. I'm just curious, Vinny, what kind of reaction you got to a show you had this past year. We were mesmerized. I think I'm sure with you it's like picking between children. I always say you can't pick a favorite. But I think if we have to pick a show from this past year that truly moved us, it was August Wilson's Radio Golf. And I was wondering what kind of reaction you got from theater goers to that, because there were 6 of us that night and we were just mesmerized.
Yeah, the theater goers really loved it because it was so timely, right? I mean, one of the reasons we did the play is it's about a real estate developer, a black real estate developer who's running for mayor in Pittsburgh, and it was right in the middle of when things were really ramping up in the mayoral race, in Baltimore. So it was very, very timely play. And the play is about bigger things than that, gentrification and redevelopment of areas. But I mean, let's face it, Everyman's right in the middle of an area that is in the middle of being developed. And so it was the right play in the moment, and audiences were riveted by it. They were really fascinated. We got a lot of positive feedback from that.
Yep. Well, listen, it's great. Leslie, you want to take us out of here? What a great bit.
Yeah, Vinny, we really appreciate you coming in, and for you and everyone out there kind of holding this thing together. And you sort of mentioned it as a side thing that folks can donate, folks can leave tickets, that if they've purchased tickets, to consider donating those for the theater troupe, and we would highly recommend that. We're saying that for everyone out there, that there's so many places that are important and really foundational to Baltimore that are going to struggle throughout this and after this and into the fall and maybe even into next year. We've heard from the zoo this week and other folks that have literally just shut down during their biggest months that they cannot recoup. We hope you guys get back on your feet instantly. We can get back down together and do more than elbow bumping and staying 6 feet apart. We appreciate your visit today. Thank you, Vinny.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Vinny Lanchese, he runs the Everyman Theater. You can go check that out at everymantheater.org. They're right down and I love the name of the community there, the Bromo Arts District. I love that. When you say the Bromo Arts District, everybody knows the Bromo Seltzer Tower. Our friends at State Fair are making up the chicken and waffles. I ordered 10,000 chicken tenders to go online from Evan Brown the other day. I still got to get out there. I really do need to get some shrimp and grits to go if I go over. I'll be eating the waffle in the car through my mask. Also, Fadley's. Don ordered the crab cakes and the crab soup. It came in a box. I've seen the box. I haven't seen the crab cakes. I don't know if I want to see them. Make me want them. But you can order them online if you do want them. They're a click away, Fadley's. Make sure you're checking that out, as well as Moeller and Gary Realty. And I had a great conversation with Jeff Moeller, Don's son, about whether he was going to hug his mom or his dad first when this was over with. Just have to go listen to the segment yourself out in the buyatoyota.com audio vault. At WNST.net, I got hats. I got Baltimore Positive. Let's see here. I got my Baltimore Positive hat. I got my WNST ad. We are mixing and mingling. We are definitely keeping calm. We are staying local. I'm growing my hair out like Mel Kiper in time for the NFL draft. But I've shaved up nicely. Next week, I'm going to get dressed up for Baltimore Positive.